Hello leaders and welcome once again. I'm going to explain an idea that every child should learn before they even go to school. And yet most people go right through their life and never really understand it. It's on self-image. And I'm going to ask you if today's episode resonates with you. Join our movement of mastering the mind. By subscribing to our channel, you will gain access to a wealth of wisdom that is tailored to elevate you both inside and outside of the boardroom. Subscribe now and help us give this world exceptional leaders together who are not just leading organizations successfully, but are also leading their lives successfully. Dr. Maxwell Maltz around 1960 said it was the greatest psychological discovery of his generation. You see, you and I have an image of ourselves. It's how we see ourselves. I know there is a reflection come back from the mirror and I can see me, but that's just a reflection of my physical being. That's not how I see me. I see me in my mind, and it's based on the information that I have on me. Now, some people have a lot of false information, so they have got a very false image. Around 1960, Dr. Maxwell Maltz wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Cybernetics was a new idea. Cybernetics was something that was discovered around the Second World War by a physicist and a mathematician, Wiener and Rosenbluet. At that time, they didn't have a name for it, and it was used for heat-seeking missiles. And they pointed out that cybernetics is the science of control and communication in the animal and in some machines. And what it does, it measures deviation from a set goal, sends information to a coordinating mechanism that will correct the output and keep whatever it is moving towards the goal. Well, do you know you have a cybernetic mechanism locked up in you? Now, what I've just said may not make any sense to you at all, but before you finish watching this video, it's going to make a lot of sense. Now, if you have heard me speaking at any event or in any video or audio, you have heard me talking about paradigms. Paradigms are nothing but a multitude of ideas, a multitude of habits that are fixed in the treasury of our subconscious. Paradigms are partly genetic and partly environmental. In other words, it's the ideas that are built right into the genes at birth. That's why we look like so much like our relatives. So when we tie all these together, it makes a very interesting story. And I'm going to ask you to sit back, take notes if you want, but really pay attention. If you have kids in school, this is absolutely critical. If you are in sales, your sales will skyrocket. Relationships, just anything that you are going to do is dependent on how you see you. So let's think about it. Cybernetics and paradigms. Very, very interesting subject. Cybernetics and paradigms are both control systems that operate essentially on the same principle. Both maintain a definite course of action and will not deviate from the course that has been established. You must alter the paradigm to achieve the result that you desire. Now think about that for a moment. You will see people stuck at certain level. They won't move beyond a point. Go and ask any sales manager to give you the names of their salespeople, and they can tell you what those salespeople are going to do next month or next year. Why? Because they are programmed. They just achieve nearly about the same, maybe up and down a little bit, but they achieve nearly about the same. How about athletes? Every coach will tell you exactly how they are going to play. That's patterns. They are called habitual patterns, and it's nothing but a paradigm. That's what it is. Now, this is a beautiful concept. So let's understand cybernetics and paradigms, all right? Considering you have an air conditioner at your home, there is a built-in thermostat in that air conditioner. The thermostat in the AC is a cybernetic instrument. Now, I live in Noida, so a good part of the year it's pretty hot, and other parts of the year gets pretty cool. But let's just say it's the summers and you have your AC set to control the room temperature at around 18 degrees. Now, you could be sitting there in your room reading a book or something, and all of a sudden, you feel a warm air around your feet, and you start to feel a little warm. And you think, what's going on? You notice that the temperature of the room is not 18 degrees anymore. It's increased to 22 degrees. You start to investigate, you think, what's wrong? And you will notice that front door is open. Now you know what happens? The thermostat that's hooked up into your AC system measures the deviation from the set goal. What was the set goal? The set goal is 18 degrees. But the temperature of the room is at 22 degrees. Things have changed. The thermostat in the air conditioner senses the room temperature and turns the cooling system on automatically. And the temperature starts to drop and it gets up to 21, 20, 19, and it will take it right back on course at 18 degrees. And then the cooling system are turned off automatically. Now think of that. All of it happens automatically. You just have to close the front door. That's a cybernetic mechanism. Interesting, isn't it? You know, you too have got a cybernetic mechanism within you. Let's look at it another way. Let's look up the sky. There is a big plane. Now, the automatic pilot on a commercial plane is a cybernetic instrument. That's exactly what it is. And you see, a flight pattern is programmed into the plane's computer system. When the plane goes off course, the cybernetic mechanism measures the deviation from the set goal and it corrects the flight pattern. The plane is brought back on course. It's correct, and back on course. Let's take a look at it from a different perspective. There is a plane leaving New Delhi and it's flying to Mumbai. Now, when the plane leaves the vicinity, just getting off the ground, the automatic pilot is turned on. The pilot could come back and have dinner with you. No, they don't leave the cockpit. But they are not necessarily flying the plane all the time. It's all done automatically. And you see, when that plane flying along you gets hit by some turbulence, gets knocked off course, do you know what happens? The cybernetic mechanism cuts in. It's activated and it puts the plane back on course. Again, it all happens automatically. Pilot doesn't have to do anything. But ultimately, although it goes off course and gets right back on course, it ends up in Mumbai. Now think about that for a moment. Here is you, and you have locked into your subconscious mind a self-image. And that self-image operates like a cybernetic mechanism. That's exactly what it is. Your self-image is a cybernetic instrument. Now let's suppose your self-image is that you are overweight. I know you don't want to talk about it and don't want anybody else to talk about it. But inside you, you feel you are overweight. And you just get to a point where you can't handle it anymore. So you make a decision, I am going to go on a diet. You instantly move into action. Now what happens? Well, you start to lose weight. Why? You are starving yourself. You don't eat anything white, No more chocolates. Why? Because they make you fat. Well, that's not what makes you fat. It's the image that's make you fat. If you had a skinny image, you could eat all the chocolate in the world. You just pass out what's not needed for the manifestation of the image through your eliminative system. Eliminative system is one of the system in your body. Now here is the point. When a person who is overweight goes on a diet without changing or altering the self-image, any weight loss is temporary. That's why people gain and lose tons of weight in their lifetime and they say they lose it. Well, you are automatically programmed to find whatever you lose. The self-image, being a cybernetic instrument, measures the deviation from the set goal and immediately corrects the course. The weight that was lost will be found. You see, you look at the scales, you don't relate to it. You say, that's not really me. That's not really me. So what happens? You put back on again. Isn't that interesting? I know. Now, if you have a weight problem, you must be saying, "Arey, ye to mujhe pata hi nahi tha. I didn't even know this." Well, now you do know it. But you see, if you are going to change the weight, you have got to change the paradigm. That's what our company is all about. We help people change paradigms. We help them live in the body they want to live in. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm at my perfect weight. I'm looking good and I'm feeling great. You can do that. You can live the way you want to live. You are God's highest form of creation. Now, you must be thinking, और कौन-कौन से areas में हम इस concept को use कर सकते हैं? What are the other areas that we could use it? Well, you can use it in any area you like. Let's take a child in school, all right? Now, there is the subconscious mind, okay? And the student, the child has an image. You see, the child's self-image is a cybernetic instrument. That's exactly what it is. And the child has an image of poor grades. This is biographical, by the way, because in my school, that's the image I used to have. And you see, when a person receiving poor grades, it's an expression of a self-image. It's the self-image they hold that they are expressing. The person believes they are not very bright. They, of course, receive a report card that reflects the poor image they have got. They take the report card at home and now there is trouble. I lived with this all the time when I was in school. Now the child is grounded. They are made to study. Now what the parent doesn't know and the child doesn't know is really rather sad. See, the child is pushed and the marks go up. But what the real problem is, what the parent and the child do not understand, they have the child give up their recreational activities. They make them study all the time and the grades improve. But the improvement is temporary. Why? See, the child has never changed the self-image. Parent doesn't even understand self-image in most cases. And certainly, the child doesn't understand. So what happens? They got a good test, but when the report card comes out, nothing's changed. Now, why would people live that way? They live that way because they don't know any different. And that is rather sad. See, we should learn to live the way we really want to live. We have got to understand the concept of self-image, of cybernetics, of paradigms. You know, Oscar Wilde said something really beautiful one time. He said, selfishness is not living as one wishes to live. Selfishness is asking others to live as one wishes to live. You have got to develop the courage. You have got to develop the awareness, the wisdom to live the way you really want to live. Life is very short and it's over very, very fast. And you can have, do or be anything you want. You are the God's highest form of creation. If you really want to check in into the programs that will change the course of your life forever, understand this. Myself and my associates in our company spend all their time studying this. I have been personally studying this for several years now. We have some of the best programs in the world. And I'll tell you this. they will have you running in the direction that you want to go for the rest of your life. Leave us your information. Let us talk to you. And absolutely refuse to spend another day living the way someone else wants you to live. So they are going to be happy with you. See, most people live the way they think other people think they should live. At the very best, that's going to be a bad trip. This is your life. Make it a phenomenal experience. This is Chirag Kansal, and thank you for joining me today.